her words to share on this month's collaborative charitable giving organization, the Dignity Project. She says, this month our special collection is UUTC's own The Dignity Project. The project was begun in 2018 in response to requests from agencies in Transylvania County serving our less fortunate neighbors. We provide personal hygiene products, razors, soap, deodorant, shampoo, toothbrush and toothpaste, shaving cream, as well as condoms. We also provide diapers and wipes so mothers can keep their babies hygienic. Items are distributed to the agencies based on their requests for what they need. These items help those in need face the world with dignity. Today's sermon, An America That Yet Could Be, was offered to UU congregations a year ago in the dark days of lockdown by the Tar Heel UU Worship Project. 4 North Carolina ministers shared their recorded gifts. This one was prepared for the July 4th weekend in 2021. And although there are occasionally remarks that seem dated, overall, we are faced with the same kinds of issues that we were a year ago. The minister who you'll hear speak is the Reverend Deborah, and she was then the acting lead minister of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Durham. She was joined by 3 members of her congregation, each reading a poem, which she will then comment on. We gave the third voice among those 3 to our own Alice Wellborn, because we really wanted you to have at least one live reader this morning. Last week in Portland, Oregon, the Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, president of our UU Association, noted in her annual address that we're in a troubling time. And among other things, she called us to joy. She said, in this world of tumult and pain, the world needs our joy. Joy is life-saving alongside our faith, our courage, our truth-telling, our moral witness, and our good old UU earnestness. We must remember that there is something liberating and powerful in joy. With that, I ask you to rise in body or in spirit and joyfully sing our first hymn, number 121, We'll Build a Land. chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, and our chalice lighting reading is from Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Kevin Lausch was unable to be with us this morning. So I have, don't see any children in the audience, am I right? But for those of us who are young at heart, I'll share some words of wisdom. So, can anybody tell me what this is? A leaf. How about a descriptor for the leaf? Brown? Dead? Old? Did I hear somebody say old? Okay, yeah. You're very observant. What about this one? It's green? Yeah. It's a leaf. Let's think about, I'm going for opposites here. So, yeah. So we have old and young, or old and new. And what am I doing here? Turning over a new leaf. Very good. So the gist of this story or example is that we always have an opportunity to change, to bring about something new, even though we may feel without hope. We can bring forth something new like the oak tree. And now I want to share just a little bit from General Assembly where I was last Sunday. I was also in New Orleans for my first General Assembly. That's the annual convention of Unitarian Universalists, for those of you unfamiliar. And I was there in 2017 when our current president was elected. I remember the two things the President, Susan Frederick Gray, also the Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, two things she said then that she's echoed for the past 6 years. One, this is no time for a casual faith. And two, this is no time to go it alone. Well, ours has never been a casual faith. We're about acting on our values and moving our churches, ourselves, our communities, our country, the country we love, toward those values that we uphold. There's no shortage of UUs who have sided with love in times of war, scarcity, injustice, and prejudice. They've inspired us to respond, each in our own way and according to our own conscience, whether it's to march, rally, vote, donate food and money and shelter, write letters, take care of those who are hurting, take care of ourselves. To be powerful, to be joyful, to be loving. We will hear in the sermon this morning that America struggles to live up to its ideals. Don't we all? I don't know about you, but that's one reason I keep coming to UUTC. Sometimes my light goes out and I lose hope. But I look at you week in and week out, in church and in the community, and I'm inspired. And you're rekindling my flame. So if you just look to your right or left, look around you in the sanctuary, and know that you are that spark for someone else, and they can be for you. And also the light, the candles that we light for joys and sorrows, and I would like to name one of those for Kevin Lausch, who had surgery this week. and that's why he's not with us today. I would like to hold him in the light. This flame and these flames, they rekindle that spark within us as well. This is indeed no time to go it alone. At last week's General Assembly, Reverend Susan reminded us that our movement was created for times of change, drastic, divisive, and depressing though they may be. So I ask you to respond to each challenge that I name with her words, "We were made for this moment." Can we do that once? We were made for this moment. We're sad because we've lost so much. Our lives have been interrupted by a pandemic that isolated and divided us and isn't done with us yet. We've lost loved ones, and many of us have lost an easy intimacy with family and friends over political and cultural divides. And we were made for this moment. We're tired. Some of us have spent years working for rights that now are threatened or have already been taken. We are weary. We ask ourselves, how long can we stay in this work to protect ourselves and our siblings from harm? We are challenged to maintain our love and compassion in the face of hate and greed and oppression. And we were made for this moment. We're angry. In this country and around the world, we face war, violence, racism, poverty, climate change, authoritarianism. We're afraid. But we are not a people of fear. We are a people of courage and commitment and compassion. And we were made for this moment. May it be so.
And I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. There is a in my family, and there is sorrow in my town. There is a panic all across the nation, and there is wailing the whole world seems so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of
I just want to hold up Holly near. Our being together here in this space signifies our loving commitment to a more just and compassionate world. And our offering is the action that goes with that commitment, one of the actions. Your monetary contributions to UUTC fund our mission, whether you drop them into a basket today or donate online. And reminder that our charitable giving recipient this morning is the Dignity Project, and throughout this month. And know that each and every one of your gifts is received with gratitude. And now for our sermon.
So here on this 4th of July weekend, I have been reflecting, I've been just thinking about how much I love our country. Well, how much I love the ideals of our country, which are truly inspired, freedom and justice for all. A land where we're free to innovate and create, where the doors are open and we share a great e pluribus unum, that greater we born out of the strength of our differences. And here in the bright July sunshine, our songs and our banners and our speeches and parades usually celebrate that. Plus hot dogs, vegan or regular, and fireworks and parties with family and friends. All that's a little bit different this year. That vision, though, what I realized is that some people have always recognized it for what it was, a restricted dream, only for some, definitely not for all. I cannot tell you how long it has taken me to understand that fully. But recently, all of us have begun to see more clearly how much this beautiful dream has a shadow side, and that it's always had a terribly twisted, hidden, fuller truth, hidden in plain sight. And it began, I think, with the majority, when it was true that the majority of the founding fathers, with their beautiful, lofty words, the majority were slave owners. Their vision of freedom was narrowly confined to people who not only looked like themselves, but were of the same class and of the same wealth as themselves. Some people have been communicating a coded version of that vision of America ever since. And so these are two very different stories, e pluribus unum, that great we, and that restricted vision for we of the upper class. What we're beginning to see is that when we only understand one story, life can be very dangerous for those without power. That gap between these two stories has made it possible for our government to sanction genocide against this continent's native people. It allowed for the enslavement of people of African descent for hundreds of years. And since emancipation, it's allowed for Jim Crow and more recently for new ways to police and incarcerate people with Black and brown bodies. The gap between stories has allowed for tremendous hostility toward immigrants and asylum seekers during times of political and economic upheaval and uncertainty, for sure. So what do we do with these very different visions of American story, American history, American identity? The one about the open doors and opportunity that we lift up and cheer, and the silent, lethal vision of freedom and justice for some, but not for all. Well, this morning, we're going to lift up the voices of people who've critiqued the American dream, not to tear it down, but to lift up that e pluribus unum and to argue for it, to say that together we still might create an America that yet could be. The first of these voices is the voice of the poet Langston Hughes in his poem, Let America Be America Again. It's offered here by Ms. Joan Tillman.
Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be the great strong land of love where never kings connive, nor tyrants scheme that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say,